And now into the analysis. If you watch it, it's going to include spoilers. So go to the movie before you watch this.
Yeah, spoiler warning ahead of time. You have been warned.
Proceed at your own peril. I think it's a very good example of a new generation sequel where the older fan base is now older and has kids, and it's an attempt to reintroduce the series to both a new younger generation who probably doesn't have much, if any, experience with it, and to rekindle the love of an older generation. And I think it does it very well by keeping some of the same characters, everything from the first movie, just the same gadgets, and paying homage to blinking in a whole bunch of like references and mentions of the first events, and then having them at the end, but not being like pivotal characters in the whole story. I think it does a very good job of catering to both, but obviously having it be for the new generation more than the old one.
Yeah.
It's a very good example of that.
No, I completely agree with that. By far, has to be one of the best movies to do that in my book. Other than that, I don't really think I had that much of a problem with this movie. All in all, I loved I guess you can call them dad joke. I just really enjoyed those, and I don't know why.
Because they were good.
They were good.
I did have some problems when I first saw it, but they weren't like big problems. It was just like, wow, never seen that character use it before, and now they can just use it accurately. With the girl that came out of the house for the trap or whatever for Gozer, she was just able to use it accurately.
Man,
I would also
thought
say
that was
same
China Anne. I'm gonna find out who that chick was because I thought it was China Anne McClain the whole time, but I know it's not her.
No,
I know
no,
it's
it
not.
was
I know it's
100% not her. Well, you can boil it down to that she would practice firearms with her father, but still, it's
You
a different
It's a different type of
thing.
hold and a grip, and it would also be a different aiming
Well,
mechanism
I don't
because you're
know
also
how
aiming from the
much
hip.
energy is being, like what type of recoil or anything it would have as well. But you gotta think, yeah, I mean, that too, and honestly, the people using it originally were all scientists, so I'll just
Yeah.
say they probably weren't going to the gym that often.
True, but they also got a lot
So,
of kickback from it too, if I remember that correctly in the
exactly.
films. And they had to get
Yeah,
used
they
to
did.
that.
One actually like flew like 10 feet backwards.
Yeah,
when
but
they
then
used it.
but then a 12-year-old fixed it, so it's fine now. She fixed all the problems.
No.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
She
Okay.
took away the kickback. That was what she did.
No, he was no. It looked like he was more so dismantling one and repairing it, and he was in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get the joke that you were trying to make, Andrew. When she did it, and then also when the main character's brother did that, when he did it accurately-ish to a point. Granted, he was aiming for a bigger object, but all in all, they did really good with all the characters and character development.
I was gonna say I really liked how they portrayed an autistic character without having it be about the fact that they're autistic.
Which one
It
was
was
that?
just the daughter, little
Yeah.
girl. I think the biggest tell that they had was where she was like, I don't express emotions like normal people, like most people. And then she's
It
got
was
like her,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
the,
it was that, and she hinted at it, which I thought was very good. They did a really good job at that. And yeah, as Payson did, you could completely miss it,
Oh, I did.
100%, and that's perfectly fine.
it
I
wasn't,
loved all the cameos they had in it as well. The only person who wasn't in it that was an original character was Rick Moranis.
I read something that he doesn't like doing the cameos. He'll do
Well,
it
he
for like
doesn't.
if his character's got a main part in it, but he doesn't like doing the cameos.
Yeah, he
So,
doesn't do much acting in the first place anymore.
well,
Which,
yeah, ever
if you
since
know
he's
the
like,
reason, then you
yeah,
understand. So I
Andrew, he
wasn't
essentially became a
disappointed.
single father. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
When
his
his
like
kids
wife
were
died
extremely
or
young.
I don't know if his like
Yes, his
wife
wife
died
died.
or okay.
His wife died after they were married for like 10 years, roughly. So he quit acting altogether pretty much as soon as his career started to peak.
After they got a little bit older, he did some things, but it wasn't like big
No.
stuff like this one was.
Yeah. So I'm not upset that he wasn't in it, but that's really the only person from the original that wasn't in this movie, which I will say they did a really good job getting everyone else to come do it.
But yeah, no, I didn't even notice that. I thought she was just an introverted person because I can identify with her so much because I don't like talking to people. I don't like expressing emotions. So I mean, I didn't even catch that. I thought she was just like somewhat more of a nerd that dealt more with numbers.
And honestly, she really could be, but this is the best
You can
reasoning
make a
you can
case.
give for it.
You can make a case for either or, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you really could. So if that was their intention to make her like somewhat autistic, then they did a good job at not
And granted, yeah,
capitalizing on it and focusing on that. All in all, I thought the idea to bring back their first main villain was a really
mhm.
good idea.
Yeah, because it was essentially a recall to the first movie, but they didn't make it an exact replica of the first movie,
Mhm.
much like from what I've heard, the
Yeah,
2016 Ghostbusters did.
yes. It was honestly kind of just a remake in general.
Yeah, just with females instead of males. It was
Well,
essentially,
yeah, I would say it would probably be like
from
65,
what I remember,
70% of the same movie.
from what I remember reading, it was essentially the start of the woke genre where women were taking up all the guy parts that were usually kept up by a guy. Now, granted, those can still be done well. Case in point, Alien, but they don't need to do them like to that extreme, where it's
Yeah,
almost a verbatim
I
copy.
I enjoyed the movie to a certain extent because I enjoyed some of the actresses in that movie. They did a good job portraying their characters. But all in all, it was just a remake of the original, a copy and paste almost. So
Mm.
that was really the biggest problem I had with it. Andrew, you seem like you want to say something.
No, I was just reading more about the Phoebe being not confirmed autistic, but like hinting at it a lot through the movie. Another big
Okay.
sentence she said was overstimulation calms me.
Which who was the actress that you were thinking of?
Oh, I was thinking of China Anne McClain, but the actress of
The waiter girl or whatever,
yeah,
waitress.
I think her name was Lucky or Lucy, something like that.
No, the character's name was Lucky, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Lucky Podcast, and then the brother and sister. I don't remember their names. Phoebe was the girl,
well,
right?
Google, yeah, Phoebe's the girl. Google says Phoebe's classmate for her. Sadly,
Hold on. I'm gonna look this
What?
up for you.
but it says Celeste O'Connor is the actress name, but for her character's name on Google, if you just search Ghostbusters Afterlife cast, it just says Phoebe's classmate. Rip.
It actually does. Wow. Wasn't important enough to have. Okay.
I also will say, I did appreciate the way
It
that
is
they.
lucky.
I also will say that I appreciated the way that they created a tension between one of the Ghostbusters and made him appear like somewhat of a not as good as he could have been, but they gave you reason for it, and they didn't like demean his whole character while trying to uplift the other ones, which I thought was
Yes.
good because I mean they did it in a whole bunch of other franchises so far.
And honestly, I can't remember his character enough
Spanglish.
to know. Yeah, I can't remember his personality
In
to
two,
think
they
of
expand on it.
how accurate like this portrayal would have been. Like him just leaving, taking all
Yeah,
the gear. I think he did that or threatened to do that in the second movie.
I don't remember him threatening to do that in the second movie. I know that he, in the second movie, he goes and does his own like studies or whatever after
That's
the whole
right.
Gozer thing goes away.
Yeah,
He
because I
goes and
know
does,
I think he said that this is all my gear, my equipment. If you want to do something, let me know, or I'll take it away, or something like that.
yeah, and I think, well, also Ray kind of helped build the equipment, so he kind of owns some of it, considering that
Yeah,
it was his money. So
yeah,
it makes sense why him and Winston are at the beginning of Ghostbusters 2 going to a party with them having that equipment. So,
mm-hmm.
And then at
and
the
it,
end, it got sad. It got sad. I
yeah,
mean, it
It
was
it got,
really
funny.
did.
It was really funny. That was probably some of the biggest laughing moments I have when they were just all
yeah,
standing there and it just double takes the whole across the board.
Yeah,
and they did a great
they did.
job with the character too. Like they did a great
They
job
really
in
did.
his look. Didn't have him speak at all, which was perfect.
I know. I was gonna be really upset if they had him say anything.
Oh yeah,
So them not having him say anything,
They
I think
played it
really
safe.
sold it. They
Played it
did, and that was really good on their part. I think one of my favorite ghosts will have to be the miniature Stay Puft marshmallows. I love how they're making reference to the original Stay Puft marshmallow, which Andrew, it was like what? How tall was it?
10 stories.
Was it 10 stories? I thought it was taller. A
In the
10-story
movie, they said
tall
10 stories.
giant Stay Puft marshmallow man, and I enjoy the comedic aspect that the miniature ones bring. especially at the end where you have podcast coming out of the
Mass
bar.
genocide.
I was like, holy cow.
Speaking on podcast, I think he's the Kronk of that movie.
Oh, 100%. He is definitely the Kronk.
Oh, he's so
yeah.
funny. I love that kid.
Yep.
On the topic of actors, I now understand why Paul Rudd won the Sexiest Man Alive award for whatever year it was. I think it was last year.
I will say though, they did do this beautifully because Paul Rudd was one of the only names I knew for this movie, and the trailers made him seem like he had a way bigger part than he actually did.
Honestly,
In
the
movie.
part he played was
I mean, it's still
they didn't
important. Don't get me
overuse
wrong.
him. They used him just enough to get the point across. He did
Yeah.
they did a really good job in general
yeah.
with the script and really just everything. I don't have much of a problem with it.
They put a lot of thought into this to make sure it paid respects to the old stuff, but also made something new of it
Yeah.
and be on its
Um,
own as well.
Now I'll ask you this: do you think they'll possibly do a continuation, or do you think that this is it?
I think
I
it's
mean, they had
possible.
it. I mean, they had an end scene credit, so I mean, it's possible, but I have no idea, considering that the guy who built all the stuff died in this one, which who knew he
And
was
now
still
that we have
alive, and J.K. Simmons. So
now we have his daughter, his granddaughter though, who's equally as brilliant.
I will admit, yes. If
no, I'm
anything,
talking about.
I would be
I'm not
no, I
talking
know,
about
but
Ramis.
I
I'm
know.
not talking about Spengler.
But I was bouncing off of Andrew. What they
Yeah.
could do is they could do like wait a few years and do the next movie so that they're older and
Yeah,
they've been like going to college, getting degrees, studying more,
yeah.
and
I
just
can see
have
it being
like
a
another
possibility.
movie that could be like a finale.
I could see it being a possibility. They just ran into the issue of having a young cast. And if they don't film those kind of like back to back, then they run into the issue of them aging. So they can't do a directly after timeline wise sequel. They have to kind of
Yeah,
do like 10 years down the line where they're now in high school.
which honestly they could play that off because that would be putting them in their 20s.
I don't know, man. Bill Murray's getting up there.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
but
so is Dan Aykroyd.
I'm saying they don't have to be in it at that point.
They don't. This could very well have been their send-off movie.
Bill Murray
Yes.
is the next Ghost.
That I would be okay with, but I would be okay if this was the last one. But if it's not, if they do it as well as this one, then I'm fine with it.
So yeah, Paul Rudd won Sexiest Man Alive 2021 last year. And if you like look at like the interview or like the behind the scenes, he's like, I have no idea why I'm here. How did I win this?
That just sounds like him in general.
It's all the single moms that just went feral over Ant-Man.
Payson, speechless.
I got nothing to say. I really don't know what to say about that. Who's got next movie?
I think it's Andrew.
Yes, it is. So I'm gonna go with Belfast.
What is? I want to look this up.
Is it like?
I remember hearing it, but
Is it like about how Taco Bell started its delivery system?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that's
makes
good.
sense. Belfast.
Good. That's good. All right. So join us next week. I am going to start recommending or choosing potential Oscar nominations, and multiple lists have chosen Belfast, which is a coming of age story looking at a middle class family during the 1960s in Northern Ireland. It looks quite interesting. It's an all black and white film movie. It's a dramatic comedy, so it should be a little different speed than we're used to. So yeah, join us for that. Some other nominations that we've already reviewed are Dune, No Time to Die, at least those two. So yeah, Belfast.
I need you to when he says Belfast at the end, I need you to have a bell sound, okay? For your
Ding.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Ooh, the timing on that one was very good.
There was a really long pause. I thought my connection went bad.
All right. So yeah, we will catch you all next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check us out on all those other platforms.